Hello, miracle manifestors. Welcome to the next video about manifesting. This is the story of how I manifested my work permit, even though it was rejected. But before I begin, I want to get you to put on your learning hats. Put those learning hats on and become aware. What is it in this video? What is it that you see that's very similar to the last video on how I manifested my cell phone for 1,000 Rand? What is it in this video that you can use in order for your own manifestations? How can you change your own manifestations so that they can be better from what I'm sharing with you in this video? So don't just watch it with the intention of learning, with the intention of improving your own manifestations. Okay, are we all ready? How I manifested my work permit even though it was rejected. At the time, it was about 2002. It was the first time I was renewing my work permit and the first time I could renew my work permit without having to leave the country. At the time, I was working for an Australian company, but I was based in South Africa and I was based at UCT, University of Cape Town. But I wasn't working for the University of Cape Town. I was just sitting in their offices. And that's a whole other story of manifestation, serendipity manifestation. So you can look forward to that next. And when I went through the renewal process, not many people thought that I would get my renewal. Not many people thought that my work permit renewal would come through, but I didn't want to listen to them. And at the time, I also had just stumbled across who I'm sure you all know now very well, John Kehoe and his mind power. And I just recently discovered what he called visualizations. Some people call feelingizations or future imagined memories. Essentially, a picture in your mind or a scene in your mind of where it is that you want to go. Where are you wanting to go? Irrelevant of where you are now, where are you aiming for? And it needs to be a very clear picture. And it doesn't, at the time I didn't know, this was very early days of how I knew about creation, way before Towards Health, way before dream mapping, way before any of this that I knew. And so all my visualization was at the time was a fax coming through. Remember on that fax paper we used to get, there was that shiny, cheapy fax paper that came through the fax machine. And on it, all that I saw was big, bold letters, work permit. And even though fax machines weren't in color, there was a big red stamp, approved. Work permit, approved. That was all that it said. Simple as that. And I visualized that every single day. I used to walk up to work. I lived 20 minutes away from my job. And I even remember walking underneath this bridge as I saw this picture, this image of work permit approved. So much so any other time I went under the bridge, it almost came back to me. It was a bit like association, like this bridge. Oh yes, my work permit approved, even though at the time it wasn't. Also, I only started this visualization a few weeks after I had applied for the renewal, because I only discovered it a little bit later. And also, I don't think I believed too much in it. And after a few weeks, I was getting a bit nervous. This is going to be approved. Is it not like, that like when you're waiting for something, when you're waiting for some kind of results and you start to get a little bit nervous? Well, I was getting that little bit nervous. So I felt I needed to do something. So I started it. So it was only 2 or 3 weeks into my visualization that I did get a result from Home Affairs. It didn't come through via fax. It came through with a letter. And the result was basically work permit denied. I don't remember the words or what it was. It was a letter, so it wasn't just one line. It was a letter explaining basically my work permit had been denied and I had 3 months to leave the country. That was it. Didn't say I could appeal or anything else like that. Just said that was it. End of story. Luckily for me, my stubborn nature came through, and I continued every single day to see that fax coming through, work permit approved. Even though reality was showing me my work permit had been rejected. That was reality. Nothing was showing me that anything else was possible. Everybody had said it probably wasn't going to come through. Now it hadn't come through. My entire reality was showing me that it wasn't approved. I had to make another plan. That's what was in front of me. That was reality. But I refused to believe reality. I knew what I wanted. I wanted to carry on living in South Africa. I wanted to continue having my work permit. And so I kept up that visualization of where I wanted to go. Work permit approved. Remember, universe, the work permit is approved. I don't know how. It's not up to me how. The universe knows how. The universe knows amazing ways. Remember, my cell phone knows how things can come through. I didn't know the how. I just knew the what. Work permit approved. That's what I was looking for. And very fortunately for me, working in that department, even though I wasn't working for UCT, the head of department at the department that I was working in was the most incredible man, and he's still there. He's not a head of department anymore. He's since been dean and DVC. But he's one of those men that is incredible with words. He's just able to put the right words across in the most amazing way, whether it's verbal or written. And because I didn't know this was going to be a teaching tool, I didn't really take notes of this. And so I don't completely remember if I approached him or he volunteered. But for whatever reason, he agreed to write an appeal letter. I don't think I even knew there was a possibility of appeal. But we came up with him being able to write an appeal letter. And he wrote this incredible appeal letter that when I read, I thought, wow, is that me? I look good. We sent it through to Home Affairs, and I continued with my visualization, work permit approved, work permit approved. And a couple of weeks later, I got a letter again. It didn't come through in fax. It doesn't always come exactly as you wanted it. So don't just look at the fax machine because that's where the answer is going to come. It might come some other how. It did come some other how. I don't know if it came in an email or letter, but it came some other how other than fax. And my work permit was turned around and it got approved. That was back in 2002. And since then, I've been having work permits every 3 years. They've all been renewed. And this last one, I've had a 5-year work permit approved. So what did I do? I knew what I wanted. I was very clear what I wanted. I wanted that work permit to be approved. I didn't veer off that. I stuck to that. No matter what reality showed me, I stuck to that. Work permit approved. I continue to do it every single day, no matter what reality showed me. So from this story that I've just shared with you, what are you going to do different in order to create your manifestations? How are you going to create them? What have you learned from this? What is the most valuable information that you've got out of this video? Let us all know below so that we can all learn from each other. And let us know what you're going to manifest. And let's see how you go on your journey. And if you come up with any problems on the way or any stuckness or like, look, this is what reality is showing me. What do I do now? Let us know. We're here to help you when you're stuck. We're here to help you celebrate when you get those manifestations. So I'm looking forward to seeing you all manifest whatever it is that you want again and again and again, because it's so much fun. Happy manifesting.